Welcome to the show today. Today I have Kevin Kuhn on the show, who's the managing partner of Jaywalker Digital. And I'm very, very excited to dive into your story. So Kevin, without a long bio, without a long anything, let's dive right into your story. So who is Kevin and what's the story that got you to where we are today?
Thank you for being here. My story is basically I founded a company, Jaywalker Digital, 3 years ago. And I used to study marketing and always worked in that field, especially online business. And then 3 years ago, I met my business partner, Sam, and he asked me if I would I would like to create a company with him doing software development. And I said, yes, really quick. And then we started somehow. We got 2 people. After half a year, we got 10 people. And now we are at 17 people. And we're working basically in the field of software development and data science.
Now, this is a very brief and quick story, and it's crazy how quickly you guys have grown. Last time you also told me about how you met Sam.
Oh, yeah.
Tell me more about that.
That was a funny thing. I used to study at the University of Lucerne, doing online business and studying online business. And there was one case where we had to develop a new business idea, a digital one. And then I thought I was in a team, and we thought to sell dog toys in a license model. That means we will set packages every 2 or 3 months to the dog owner, so he can get new toys for his dog. And that's where I met Sam, and he asked me immediately after the presentation if I would like to found this company and work in it. And I was like, yeah, sounds like a good idea, but I guess not. And then we split it, and I used to work in an agency in digital business. And then I had another idea for a startup. It was with smartwatches and beacons. I wanted to create a system where we could locate elderly people in a large building. So when they fall down, they can press the smartwatch and the people get alert immediately and know where they are. And the funny thing was that was at a startup weekend. And then in the jury at the end of the week, there was Sam sitting there again. And he told me, so now it's the second time we met. We have maybe to meet a third time. And then we were in discussions, and I almost founded the other company. And then I had some cases checks going on where I had the problem that somebody licensed it already, the system. So I had to pay licenses to do it. And then when I was on my down, Sam caught me and asked me if I would like to create that new company, the software development company.
Now this is really interesting. Now the thing is with you guys, it's not just a software development company.
No.
You guys are a little bit more niche than that. So how did that come to existence? I mean, was it the combination between you and Sam, or was it some crazy idea outside of that, or how did that come into place?
So we had the great pleasure to start immediately with a huge client to found our business and also to invest into new people, because we had an income stream immediately. That was super cool. So we then started half a year, and then after half a year we thought, yeah, maybe we should think about a strategy, maybe what we're doing every day. And then we were having brainstormings and meetings and stuff, and then we just saw us as a basic software development company, like every other software company. And we said that can be on long term, it can be good to do only that. So we met Dr. Professor Mark Pooley. He's like the guru in artificial intelligence at the University of Lucerne. And we met him, talked with him, and then we decided we have to get this man on board. And he is now also invested into our company. And we then decided after half a year, we have like 2 pillars. The one is software development, and the other one will be data science. And now we invested 2 years now of our time in data science to build it up. And now we're really ready to go into that field fully, and also combining it with the software development part. And that's how our strategy was defined 2 years ago, and we're still on the same track. And it's super exciting so far.
I love how that came into place. You brainstorm, you talk to a few people, and then you decided, okay, this is the right thing. Let's just test it and see where it's going. And it became this really interesting way and pathway for you. One
Right.
thing
Yeah.
I'm always curious about is what gets people excited, what gets people out of bed in the morning. And you're one of the, I guess, youngest entrepreneurs that I personally know.
Yeah.
And also, that's another reason why I'm so fascinated by your story and what you've accomplished up until today. What is it for you personally that gets you up in the morning, that drives you to do the work you do?
I guess I'm at that point where I can say I love what I do. Let's say I can get up and I know this will be an awesome day. I can be creative. I can talk with people. I can exchange. I can meet. I have a great team I can work with. And it's really that inner motivation, that drive that gets me up every day, really to create new things, to get create new ideas, talk them with clients, and then realize them. And that's something that really pushes me every day.
I love that. And you're also in that specific field of software development and data science.
Yeah.
That combination seems to spark something inside of you. What is it? Like, why software development and data science together? Why is this something that you go like, yes?
I guess it's not software and development and data science, because one is part of the other one. So data science has always to do with software development. But what I see mostly is right now all the potential that is in the field of data science, or specific in data. Because when you see the value, and I used to study marketing, I did a lot of online marketing, and I see that so many companies have a lot of data, but they don't use it for marketing purpose or for doing improving their business. And that's what I see every day. So I know the business perspective, and I know the data perspective. And what makes me really exciting is the combination of both. And you can get a lot of cool insights out of your own data and improve it, and get define your strategy completely new, or found new products out of it.
That's
That's
awesome. Yeah.
the
Yeah.
most exciting part. Yeah.
I like the way you look at it. You're looking at it more less like those two fields together. You're looking at more like technology and business together, sort of, you know, on a broad scale, can have a huge impact when
Yeah.
they work
Right.
together, and they work together seamlessly, not separately in some
Yeah.
way. I love
Yeah.
that.
Right.
Um, Another thing about your story, I mean, it was about 3 years ago that you started all this. Now you're, you know, at 17 people. And I guess, you know, with every growth, there's also growth pains. So
Oh,
what were some
definitely.
of the biggest challenges, maybe one or two, that you faced along the way of those 3 years of growing so quickly and getting where you are today?
Um, I guess it's always, or for me, it was personally this balance between investing and getting money. It's always this little game. Should we invest into two more people? Should we grow, or should we wait until we have new clients? And what if we wait but don't get clients? And right now, it's mostly, let's say, to prove what we can do as a little startup. Let's say we are not a startup anymore. We don't have the usual size of a startup, but still we are not that well known in the field, but we have great ideas, and it's really to invest all that power to get known and to get a chance to do great things with people and business. Yeah, I guess that's one of the challenges. And as you can guess, with 17 people, it's always a challenge about communication. As in most companies, it's about everybody has to have the same information level. Everybody has to be clear about what field he's working, what he can, what he can't do every day. That's a huge challenge. And yeah, we are basically every day we face challenges there, where we have to communicate transparently and share everything we know with everybody, so that we are on the same level. Yeah, I
And
guess
you know, I
that's
mean, maybe what you didn't share yet to talk about yet was that you're not only in the same office as well. You know, you're
right.
distributed on a global level as well, so that makes things not much easier usually. So that's also
True.
another level of complexity in terms of communication and the size and growth and everything. So,
Right. Right. Yeah. Yeah.
so in terms of lessons, what are, if you had to pinpoint one or two lessons in your own growth and the company's growth over the past 3 years,
Mhm.
what would those one or two biggest ones be?
The biggest successes, you mean, or
Biggest lessons that you learned along
big
the way
lessons?
with, you
Yeah.
know, with
Uh,
failures and with successes?
I would say, first of all, is identifying what you love doing, and also just doing it. Let's say so. Really, also finding clients that are on the same drive as you are, that you can really progress with them, and not only that somebody's taking profits out of it. It's really um, yeah, finding how to say, it's like really finding your passion and then really living it.
So
Yeah.
what is it about this passion thing, I know, of course, what you're talking about, but it's always this conceptual thing, right? It's
Yeah, right.
do what you love what you do, follow your passion. Well, okay, that's all nice. It's like have a nice day, or it's not, it's a bit like that, right? It's very
Uh-huh.
conceptual on a level, but you are living it on a daily basis. Otherwise, you
Yeah.
won't have the drive and energy.
Mhm.
So what does it do for you to know what you're really good at, to know what you enjoy most, and then being able to do that and live that every day?
Um, I guess it's all about energy, getting energy. It's not that you define or do things that will take your energy. I have a lot of weaknesses that I define as things that when I have to do them, it will take energy from me and it doesn't feel well. So for me, I identified those. And really communicated transparently to the coworkers and to my team what I'm not good at and what takes me energy. And the other thing is I know exactly what gives me energy and what I can, where my flow is or my drive. And I also communicated that. And once you do that, and you do it also in the whole team, you know exactly what people are to get motivated and passionate, let's say, and can put all the energy in and what takes them energy. So once you see somebody is feeling really down because he has to do something that takes his energy, you can talk with him. And because everybody knows about everyone here, what gives him energy and what takes his energy, you can support each other a lot better. Yeah.
So what I'm hearing is not just that you're building a company about skill sets and roles, but you're also looking into much deeper levels of people's
Yeah.
personalities and their deeper skill sets and passions, and try to create a full cake, so to say, with inside a company, and as it grows, keep that cake full, so to say.
Exactly. Yeah. We had a really interesting approach recently. It was half a year ago. We were looking, so I was a little bit overloaded, let's say, as a basic startup. And there were a lot of tasks that took me a lot of energy. Let's say I'm not the guy who can follow projects over a long time and do let's say project management. That's not something I really like to do, and it takes me a lot of energy. I like to be creative, get innovations and stuff like that. And so what we did is basically I wrote down all my weaknesses, what I'm not really good at, or what takes me energy, let's say, and we changed the title of it to Your Strengths and posted this one online. And then we waited for applications, and we did not ask for any degrees or anything. We just said, hey, we're looking for somebody who has those strengths. And 2 days later, we really got an application from somebody that is 45 years old, is our today's project manager. And it's really funny because basically only if we would have checked his CV, it would never have worked for us, because he's a engineer, but not a software engineer. Like, he helped constructing tunnels. And so basically based on the CV, you would probably say, oh no, probably not. We need somebody from software field. And now we have really a perfect match, let's say. And that's really cool. And we're really sensitive to what people are into it and what not, what gives them energy and what takes them energy. And that helps for general understanding. And yeah, we're still people. So it's good to know that. Yeah.
And that's very inspiring, because there's so much rigid thinking in the business world still today. Even with a lot of entrepreneurship, there still is a lot of rigid thinking. And I understand that, with more complexity and more growth and the bigger company, it becomes more complicated. But this is more about a culture and about philosophy
Right.
that is in the DNA of the organization. And it's so amazing and inspiring to see you live this, not just yourself, but the organization living this on a daily basis. I want to jump a bit into the present. What's most exciting right now?
Right now, we are, I would say, on a tipping point. It's like we have a lot of great meetings with new potential clients. We have a lot of requests, so great ideas coming from everywhere. And now it's really the challenge is to find our spot where we want to focus, because we have so many different requests from all different fields. And now it's really time to focus. That's what we are, our today's challenge.
So meaning focusing on a specific industry or on a specific like niche service, or?
I would call it more niche, let's say, but we don't want to focus too much, because our whole ecosystem is developing so fast. So it can be that in two weeks there's completely different things going on that we have to get into it too. So we are more, I would say, based on the client's requirement, what we want to offer. It's a little bit more focus over there. Yeah.
Okay. Okay. I love that. One thing also about, the growth and what's happening right now is about bringing the new people on board. And I mean, with the approach that you're using, it's not a 1, 2, 3 step approach in terms of hiring and bringing new people on board. So I'm wondering, like, is there some form of a framework that you use to, for example, know with the project manager, it could be a right fit from a culture perspective, but maybe on a skill level, it will be a total misfit, right? So is there a way for you to balance those areas to say, okay, skills are always key, right? If somebody doesn't perform the job, it's not going to work. But then the cultural match and personality also needs to be a match. How do you package that into the recruitment process?
Good question. We had the luck that the skills always matched the person we met. So, but what we do always is, like, every person we want to have in our company is coming to us to work with us one day and see and meet everyone. Everybody presents what he or she does, but it's really not the way that I would not. I don't know what would happen if we had somebody that wouldn't match, but we were lucky we didn't have that so far. Yeah, because I have always a little bit the saying that skills are something you can learn, and culture not. Let's say, or how you behave is something you usually can't change that fast. But if somebody needs to do a crawler in data science to crawl some information, he can do that within 3 days. Even if he has no idea about programming, that's something you can learn. But if it would not fit in our team, in our culture, there would not be that motivation, that drive that you want to excel. And so that's, for us, maybe 80% of the requirement is about the person has to fit into our team.
I think this is, actually, I very much like this way of looking at culture match first. And it goes the same thing. It's just like when you're hiring employees, it's the same thing when you're buying a company, right? It should be the culture match should be first than anything else, because skills in any kind of setting can be learned. However, with this approach, there's also a more in-depth training and development process that needs to go on inside of the organization. So when you onboard people, do you have some sort of process where you let them through? You have like a resource section?
Oh yeah.
How do you onboard people so they match the culture? Yes, but then they develop and learn on the skill level as well.
Yeah, we have a lot of tech talks and let's say little workshops we do with people. We have special software we use for process management and to define all the steps, and that needs some introduction and some tutorials to do. And that's basically, we have some little let's say like we make it on tools. We check that tool, that we use, we go through it, we teach everybody how to behave. We have also let's say how to say a code of conduct, what we do, the level we develop, that we do unit tests and testing and how that works. We have some basic rules written down, but we go through them, and the best way to learn is it logically on the job, like on projects. But yeah, that's basically how we take people on board once they're at our company. We really involve them real early and let them work on projects together with an experienced developer or experienced data scientist.
So there's a lot of mentoring going on, a lot of peer-to-peer
coaching.
Exchange.
Yeah, right.
That's sort of like the main thing. Instead of giving people a platform and say you can go in and watch all the videos and learn. The actual exchange on a very practical level. That's right. Very powerful. Also about finding the right people, because that's always a huge challenge, or maybe it's a huge perceived challenge for any kind of company. There's all talk about talent right now, right? So how do you go about it? Or maybe more specifically, what were some of the channels from the past that were most successful? Was it just traditional job applications? Was it that you met those people at an event? Or was it just through social media? How do those people find you, or you find them?
I would say it's also the basic job platforms that works pretty well. But the best is basically on events, when we meet, when we chat, when you see people have this little, one friend of mine called it spark, when you see in their eyes that there is something, that they're interested, that they have fire to start something. It's basically that. And we are somehow also special in the people we're searching. We're looking for data scientists. That's not something that you can say you will find it everywhere. You really have to educate those people. Every data scientist is a little bit specialized in a different field. So it's really also an educational part that we have to do then in our company. And then it's always good to have maybe people that are technically skilled, to learn the technical, to have the technical skills, but then they need the business skills, and those they get teach with talking with clients, meeting them, seeing how business processes work and stuff like that. Yeah, it's really a learning on the job, but we find people really on job platforms and on personal talks, yeah, meetups.
And I find it really interesting that you have this holistic view of the development process of somebody within inside the organization. So it's not just about finding the right person with the perfect skills and then letting them work, but it's more about growing them along the way, completely growing them along the way, and understanding, okay, there's a culture fit first. Yes, there are some skills that need to be there, but many other things can be learned along the way. So when you go out, you're looking for that spark first, and then it makes a lot of the things easier versus saying, here's the checkbook, or like the check boxes. If you tick all of these, then we have a chat. It's basically the other way around, and it's a really interesting way. Maybe in a separate conversation, it would be a bit too long today. It would be interesting to talk about how to scale this, because how do you scale this in a 10,000, 50,000 people organization? But maybe that's a separate topic, because I want to dive a little bit into the future now. I'm a marketing geek myself, I've always been in business development, in sales and marketing. And, over the past, I don't know, maybe 5 or 10 years, this whole idea of data and marketing became more and more prominent. And it's one of the key things that you're pursuing as well. And you've very successfully positioned with the one client that you work with for a long time specifically. So where do you see all of this going in the near future? Where do you think we're going to be 1, 2, 3 years from today in terms of how we're going to do marketing and how marketing will be received in the market?
It's a really good question. I personally think that we will be able to do a lot of more specific marketing, let's say, way more focused and targeted on people, and also personalized, let's say, and not only personalized in the level that you see your name on the flyer or in a newsletter, but really on content level, what interests you. Already today, we are able to filter interests based on user behavior. You can calculate that, you can measure that, you can return into your customer relationship management tool. You can use it for email marketing, for every sort of marketing activities. And if businesses will be ready to collect the data, the right data, prepare it somewhere and make it accessible over the whole company so that everybody from the company can use it, not only for marketing perspective, but maybe also to optimize sales or do better in product development because of data. That will be the way to go. But it will be a little bit optimistic, I would say, to reach that level in 2 or 3 years. I think right now, as I talk with different kind of companies, they are not at that point where they can say they will be fully digitalized in 3 years. It's really now they are reflecting and start talking about what data do we need, what data do we have already, what data quality do we have, and that will take steps. And also, we always talk about the data mindset, that people get the data mindset, that they are sensitive to data, especially on C-level. That they see the importance, and that's a lot of work to do to get that on that way. And I think it will completely develop into 2 or 3 years. Nobody would say data are not that important, or yeah, we have some data. They will specifically know, hopefully, where their data is stored, what they have for data, and then improve their marketing. I guess that should be the way to go, and I also hope it will go that way.
So that's more about the data mindset that's massively going to develop over the next couple of years. I think that's a really good focus area, and I think that's really what's happening very, very much. But there's a lot of educational work to be done as well, right? I'm curious about, there's an interesting case that you talked about to me last time, where it's not just about the marketing activities or tactics, so to say, where this plays in, but in the very fundamental strategy of marketing, going back to the roots and saying, who is our avatar? Because,
Yeah.
you can use data for marketing and go out and do great marketing, but if you're not really talking to the right people, but you touch them personally and you have the perfect context and content and everything, but they're not your audience, so to say, they're not your avatar, well, they'll never really be there, and paying invoices, right? So
Right.
let's talk about that avatar, because I was inspired by how you're able to capture the data, not just capture, but use the data to segment avatars in a way that I've never ever seen before, because it's not just about age, gender, the boring stuff, right? It's
Right.
much more focused, more detailed, but also in things that maybe have never been able to be measured before. So tell me a bit about
Right.
that.
Okay, that was 2 years ago. We started a project with the University of Lucerne, or basically with the client first, where people have been asked to participate in a contest, and for the participation, they had to give a personal, let's say, a personal experience they had or they wanted to have. It was like you have to select a destination you would like to travel to, and then you had to express what you're going to do there. And so people selected South Africa and said, I want to go on a safari and experience this and that and take photographs and walk there and hiking and all that stuff. And people were writing a really long text there. And we were amazed how much information is in some sentences about the person's prospect or feeling, or what they expected to do, or what their personal experience was. And we were thinking about, what if we could extract the words they used and create a cluster, let's say, to cluster them and find that there is maybe a group of people that like to go to Africa and do safaris. And this is the basic change to what we have today. The avatar you talked about is like, in marketing, people often go and say, oh, we have a person, let's call him Mark. He's 45 years old, has 2 kids, and lives in Zurich. That's how they create cluster of people they use for marketing purpose. I would say it works today somehow, but they never know if this guy is really 45 years, and it is just demographic. It's not about interest, because today you have a guy, he can be skateboarding in half pipes every day, and he's 45 years old. And so we try to figure out how could we analyze that. So we took all those answers we got. We got, first instance, 3,500 participants. And then we thought, yeah, we have to get some more words. So we downloaded the Wikipedia corpus to get more words. And what we did is we compared similarities. That means we checked what is the distance between words. So if somebody says, for example, he wants to go to Peru, to the Machu Picchu, we know that Machu Picchu is somehow a mountain. And if now another person comes and says, I want to go to the Pilatus in Lucerne, we know, oh, this is a mountain too. So this could be similar people. And once you do that, you can calculate the distances and cluster them. And at the end, what you get is you can either say, please, little machine, give me 5 customer groups we have. And then you have really 5 target groups, but specialized on interests and not on any demographic characteristics. Or the other hand, you can also come as a company and say, look, we have those 5 personas, like Mark, 45 years, 2 kids, and you can compare those with the interests and check if these really fit. So you have, first time I ever heard about, you have a KPI for how good your personas are, your avatars are. And that's something that got really a lot of attention recently. We're also still doing some studies on it, how to improve it, but we have it already in use for several clients. And it's really exciting how this changes the whole communication afterwards, because companies now see how they should communicate, with what feelings, what emotions they should integrate, and what words they should integrate into their communication. And that changes a lot. And as far the numbers show that it really improves the communication and got more conversions. And that's very interesting.
And that's totally fascinating. And also what's also fascinating with this data-driven approach is, like, it used to be in the past, it's always sort of like the thumb rule. It's like, okay, you go with 3 avatars. 3 is always a
Right.
good number, right? But now working with this little machine, you can say, yes, give me 3, or give me an X number, because we have that kind of content, or these kinds of things that we're experts in, for example, that we
Right.
know a lot about. And then you can sort of like tailor markets to an organization, a division, certain skill sets in the company, certain knowledge,
Exactly. Yeah.
you can do a much, much better matching. So you no longer have to go with this, Neanderthaler approach of saying, give me 3 avatars. It's good.
Right.
It's good to, to focus on a more strategic level. But then if you drill it down, I think there's so much more detailed matching you can do between the organization and the market. It's basically about the connection between the organization and the market, which at the end of the day is all about the success of an organization. I mean,
Right.
if you probably measure the closeness or the distance between an organization and their market, you probably have a good indication of how successful an organization also is. So I find that really fascinating there.
Yeah, it is also for us. Yeah.
So one last question. If you would talk to a business owner, head of marketing, head of technology at an organization, the kinds of people that you guys serve, and it would be sort of your last words to them, that would be, your nuggets of wisdom, your pieces, what would that last sentence or those last few words be?
Use the data you have. So check what data you have, care about your data, and use it for your advantage in form of analyzing it, using insights, or generate insights out of it, and improve your business with it.
So you use the data you have. So it's basically sort of like what I'm hearing out of it is, number one is you don't need much more data than you already have, but use that first. And then number 2, actually use it.
Yeah, right. It was always like, you always hear, oh, we need big data to do data science, or so. It's really absolute nonsense. You can also start with 50 customer sentences. You can start, and people have thousands of entries in their CRM tools or ERP software or transactions, online stores. They have so many data, but nobody ever showed them what they really can do with it. And that's basically the point. Most companies don't need to have big data or start collecting data. They already have tons of data, but they never used it or analyzed it professionally.
I love that. So thank you so much for being on the show, Kevin. I really appreciate it.
Thank you for having me.
Link to the sources below the video so people can figure out more about you, about the company. So thanks for being here.
Thank you. Thank you very much.